Bitcoin hanging above $19,000 ahead of the Federal Reserve decision this afternoon. The cryptocurrency's market value has declined by nearly 60% this year. Yahoo Finance's David Hollerith is here with us in studio today to talk all things crypto. Okay, so what should we expect the crypto reaction to be, especially given the Fed policy decision to come later on this afternoon?
Well, Brad, at least expectations as far as yesterday afternoon were not high as far as how Bitcoin would respond to this. It's typically highly sensitive to interest rate hikes in the past. So that being said, there are some very bearish takes out there looking at Bitcoin going as low as $10,000 per coin. But that being said, I think the real question is more about whether or not we'll see the lows we saw this summer in the asset. So, we're looking at sort of the upper 17,000s for the price to see how it will react. But that being said, obviously the correlation with the stock market has gotten to record highs, especially in the last month for Bitcoin. And so right now, it's essentially a leading indicator maybe for how the market might react.
Yeah, I mean, and I've seen a lot of commentary, specifically between the correlation between tech stocks and Bitcoin as well. There's another story that you're watching that has been so interesting to follow, right? It has to do with the future of Voyager. Binance and FTX appear to be reportedly some of the top bidders for Voyager, or the bones of Voyager, I guess. And this is interesting because it's been, as we've been tracking the fallout from crypto's crash, Binance and FTX appear to be two of the strongest surviving players in the space.
Yeah, that's a great point. So Voyager is holding sort of an auction for their assets in bankruptcy court right now. At their peak last year, the stock market capitalization was valued at $3.9 billion. And a report from the Wall Street Journal last night cited sort of Binance making a bid of about $50 million. So for Voyager, that just goes to show how far the price of its assets have dropped. But on the other hand, it's sort of a steal if you want to get into crypto lending, which, despite the summer insolvency issues, it seems like that game is not up yet.
I want one more just on the merge aftermath, if I may, because this has been such a fascinating time in Ethereum land. And there were so many Bitcoin maximalists out there for so long. I think of Michael Saylor and the additional purchase that MicroStrategy just made. Yeah. Are we seeing more divergence in the crypto community between those maximalists and then people who have gone more towards the functional cryptos like an Ethereum?
Yeah, Julia, I think that's a good point. It's definitely the case. In some ways, very hardcore Bitcoin investors actually think of themselves as sort of critics of the rest of crypto in a way, and how they view the asset. I mean, they think of cryptocurrency essentially as just money. The way the Bitcoin blockchain is managed is completely different from Ethereum. So you sort of have this desire for censorship resistance, which is sort of the Bitcoin camp. And then the rest of crypto is sort of on a spectrum of software and more akin to what we see with Silicon Valley. And Ethereum's actually not the farthest on that spectrum. There are much newer chains, blockchains that are basically all powered by Silicon Valley venture capital. So that obviously is a very different model, much more like a company, even though they are decentralized projects than, say, something like Bitcoin. But Ethereum sort of is kind of trying to sort of toe that line in between. And after the merge, there have been a few developments to where we're going to have to see, what decisions they make in terms of how compliant they want to be with governments to sort of figure out where Ethereum falls.
Wow.
Cool. Well, luckily we have you around to help us help keep us posted on all of that. Thanks, David, and it's great to see you in person here in the studio.